Here we are in Bagnese, just out of Florence, a few kilometers out of Florence, Tuscany, Italy. And we are in a very special place, like something we love to go. In Italy, sometimes you have the luck to find historical temple of food, friendship, culture, art, where people gather to stay well together, maybe with a glass of wine in their hands or just to enjoy food all together. This is one of those places. Apparently, this restaurant opened at the beginning of 19th century because a soldier that was in different wars with Napoleon Bonaparte and Napoleon I, after the last defeat, came back to Italy and decided to start a business. So he opened this beautiful, very simple, just in the middle of the countryside, beautiful restaurant called Bibe. Bibe is the Latin word that means literally drink. Okay? Because apparently his name was very difficult to handle. He was called Paradiso, paradise, and he decided to replace this name with something more easy to get along. Anyway, here we are, and they serve quite traditional Tuscan preparations. It's very strict with the tradition. Consider that it's the same family, that the Baudoni family, here since 6 generations. Originally, this place was a meeting place in the middle of nowhere because it was also a food store and a tobacco store. So the label, the marble label outside still says tobacco store. So people could stop here and buy tobacco and have a glass of wine and have some food, and later became a very traditional meeting point for lots of artists, painters, but apparently many writers. One of them is quite recent. We are talking about the 20th century, and his name was Eugenio Montale, and it's pretty famous, and I continue in a moment about the poets later, but because they brought us the lovely food, and what I will start with. I will start with this, which is warm, so hurry up guys, because you need to have it warm. This is the famous lard of Colonnata. Colonnata is a little village on the northwest of Tuscany. It's famous because it was one of the places where the workers of the white marble mines were staying and having food, and they developed this tradition of the lard. Imagine people working in the mountains, very hard and heavy work. They need a particular food. So this was the specialty for this kind of workers. It's a lard that is seasoned into white marble boxes with lots of salt and herbs. And believe me, it is delicious. It's a bit fatty, but it's really delicious. Then we have the typical Tuscan crostini, which I love, made based on liver. Usually is chicken liver, but could be any kind of liver. And every place has a different recipe. They add different flavors, different alcohol to give a taste. And the last one are the crostoni, which is another specialty based on a bottom of bread and then with the special prosciutto. And this is wonderful because it's now in season, the artichokes cooked to make an incredible mix. So see you later. Here we go with our first. I choose something very traditional, which is the onion soup, based obviously on onions, but also on local herbs and pecorino cheese. Okay. This just to have a taste of it. But on the other hand, we had lovely pappardelle with wild boar ragu. Wild boar is everywhere in Tuscany, so hunters are very busy to provide all the time the perfect wild boar to make this wonderful sauce with this fresh handmade pasta. I forgot to tell you something before about the bread. They serve a very typical unsalty Tuscan bread, but what is special is that they made the bread here at the kitchen and they still sell the bread like a bakery to the village, to the people that come here just to buy the bread. I am sharing my onion soup, which is okay. That's all. Zuppa di cipolle. Somewhere in Tuscany you will find this preparation and they call carabaccia. Carabaccia, which is a strange name. Next time I will explain to you the story of this funny name. Here we go with the main, with this called secondi, and we start with the peposo. Peposo alla fornacina, which means pepper meat at the oven style, because this is a very ancient recipe. They say from the Renaissance, 1400 times. And this was a typical preparation. The workers of the oven where they prepare the bricks, the terracotta, were bringing with them to have as a lunch. So they were bringing from home and leaving this terracotta container near the oven for the terracotta, and lunchtime was ready. It's a very strong with lots of pepper preparation and red wine that dress the meat. Here is served with the white beans typical of Tuscany. This is the faraona with cabbage and porcini mushrooms. Porcini mushrooms are obviously dried. We are in February now, they are out of season, so they are dried and cooked together with the verza, and the roasted faraona complete the preparation. And to finish the scenario, we have fried chicken. Fried chicken with the chooks from the courtyard. This is called in Italian le galline ruspanti. Remember this name, ruspanti. That means that are not from a factory of eggs and chickens, but are real animals going around in the farm courtyard. Here we go at the conclusion. We have wonderful dessert with some wines along. We choose the meringue with chocolate and chestnut to be together with chocolate melted on top, which sounds quite attractive. This is not traditional, but it's just made by the local chef of this super traditional restaurant. Together we have an amaro, which is not bitter, it's just a lovely orange and herbs extract that helps you to finish in the best way your meal. And I had here the passito from Salina, which evokes me a bit of history, because the Prince of Salina was the main character of the Leopard, remember, in Sicily. So this is passito from Pantelleria Estate. But I want to conclude with the poem I told you before about Eugenio Montale, Nobel Prize of Literature 1975, about this restaurant that before was just a place where to meet and have a glass of wine and to gather and enjoy life in the middle of the countryside. I'm going to read you what he wrote. Bibe, ospite lieve, la bruna tua reginetta di Saba mesce sorrisi e rufina di 14 gradi. Si vede in basso rilucere la terra fra gli aceri radi e un bimbo curva la canna sul gomito della grede. I try to translate this very difficult task anyway. He's talking to Bibe, which is the young girl that is serving him, and he says, Bibe, very nice and sweet host. You are like a little queen of Saba, and you are melting smiles and 14 degrees Rufina Chianti wine in a lovely mixture, my comment. On the background you can watch down in the valley between the strong trees a little child with his fishing rod on the little creek downstairs.